informative and very insightful indeed. Thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker. She'll be talking to us about staying healthy in these uncertain times. Our next speaker is no other person but our mommy in the house, Pastor Mrs. Bukky, aka the coach. She has a passion to help people stay healthy and live their best lives. She has a master's degree in medicinal organic chemistry and is trained as a health coach. Over the years, she has seen people live in physical health pain because of bad choices made, and has made it a point to influence as many lives as she can by sharing the truth and mentor clients through their health journey. She's a wife, mother, sister, and a friend to many. So please join me to welcome our mommy.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity. I count myself privileged to be able to help people to know what to do at a time like this. And I want to appreciate the great speakers that have come before me. Dr. Ahmed, thank you, and thank you so much, as if you saw my notes. And also my brother Edwin here, as if they saw my notes. So maybe this is a time to harness all that we have had together. And I actually want to appreciate the Council of Professionals, for what they are doing, for their objective, for their goal, and what they want to achieve. And so I want to count myself privileged to be a Nigerian who can benefit from such great initiatives. So we are going to look at how do we stay healthy in these uncertain times. They have said pandemic period. What can I do? So my next slide tells us, the outline. Quickly, I will go a little bit, into what is health. We are talking about health, the definition. Then when we talk about physical health, what do we mean? Also, when we talk about, the impacts of COVID, there are some impacts that are general. It affects every one of us. And then I will narrow in to individuals. I'm actually picking individuals because you start from an individual before you can help others, because before you can help your family. And then I will look at how can I minimize the impacts high, looking at individual. Thank God for what our governments, our leaders are doing. But how can I myself reduce the impacts? And of course, we look at the next steps, maybe like advice. And of course, we have a Q&A. So the most important thing is that I want to stay healthy. So we go to the first slide. When we talk about health, it's holistic. You can actually separate one from the other. And that's why when Dr. Ahmed was mentioning mental, he started to mention about physical, he started to mention about even your thinking, your orientation, your attitude. This is important. So what we are talking about this evening is that we are looking at the holistic health. What can we do in times that we have found ourselves? So we look at the physical well-being, the mental well-being, and the social well-being. And according to WHO, the definition of health in 2020 is that it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, which is marked not only by the absence of disease or infirmity. So we go to the next slide. Why is physical health so important? You can see the picture I have there for people that are, older and yet still moving. One thing I want to get into you is that movement is important because it activates most of our system. And of course, I always hear, if you don't use that arm, if you don't use your leg, if you don't use, your eyes, you may lose some of those muscles. So that's why physical is so crucial. So it says physical health, physical activity or exercise can improve your health and reduce the risk of developing several diseases like type 2 diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. Physical activity and exercise can have immediate and long-term health benefits. And more importantly, regular activity can improve the quality of life. So what are we doing? A lot of us work in ignorance. And that's why part of the responsibility of an health coach, which I am one, is to educate you on how, we can improve our health. And I like the fact that, when you wake up in the morning, don't just remain in bed. There is time for everything. Don't just remain in your PJ and begin to walk. No. Plan a physical activity. Mimic the fact that, you are going to work. Don't stay in bed. Get up and move. Movement is important. Can I hear somebody saying movement is important? Thank you. So we want to move on. What are the impacts of COVID-19? You look at my picture. Some people are so unconscious. I remember when this started, I remember my manager was saying, do you know what? I have my laptop on my kitchen, on my dining table. How is that possible? How can you sit on that seat? Well, for me, I can't sit on mine for so long. And so what did I do? Because before now, I've been working from home. So what did I do? I started to have a chair. It's expensive. And one thing I want you to get along is with me, what I want to pass across, one of the points I want to pass across is that health is your wealth. And let me tell you, to stay healthy is very expensive. Can you hear me? To stay healthy is very expensive. But the other side of it is that illness or disease is much more expensive. So that's why it's a choice. And unfortunately, I can't help you make that choice. You will see as we go along, it's a personal choice. And so I want to throw this question out to you as we move on. What are you going to do at the end of hearing this, little seminar or little talk? What will be your personal decision? Because I can't help you. I can only, give you information. But what are you going to do with the information you've received? Right from when Dr. Ahmed was speaking, what are you going to do? So when we look at COVID-19, it's affecting everyone. And if you ask me, there are some goods about, if you allow me to use that word, there are some benefits of COVID-19. And of course, it's a pity that unfortunately a lot of people have lost their lives. And some have lost their relations. And that's why we need education about our health. Because there are some cases and some situations that we could have avoided. Only that we need education. So if there's one good thing about COVID, is that it has made me and you to sit back and to think. Because we now have the time. For me, it's saving me about 2.5 hours, at least, on the bus to work. So the question to me is that what am I using that 2.5 hours to do every day? COVID is affecting everyone. It looks like it's a new way of life. So if it's affecting everyone, the question to me and you is that why do I need to be afraid? Why do I need to fret? Yes, there's fear out there, but our government is doing a lot of things to cushion the effects of that fear and to cushion the effect of COVID. So that tells me and you that we need to have a positive attitude about this period. It's affecting everyone. Actually, that was what helped me at the beginning. I said, well, I'm not the only one in it. We are all in it. And I like, as it was rounding up, that we are all going to come out of it together. But your attitude is crucial. So we have to know that this is not permanent. It's going to go away by the grace of God. Because we have in history that about, I think, 1918, this happened. And they gave us pictures, several pictures of them using masks. But since I was born several years back, I didn't know about masks. I've not had an experience of a pandemic. And if not up till early this year, nobody will know that happened in 1998. So what am I saying to you? There is hope. We are going to get out of this. And so let's all remain what? Positive in our attitude. You are not the only one in it. And so this should cushion the level of your fear, if you allow me to say that, before we move on. What are the impacts? Our brother just told us that's affected school. Our sister just told us she's been going, but for me, I've been home. And I've been working from home. The truth is that my productivity, I can say, has increased. Or I can say it's the same, because I refuse to allow myself to be pulled so that I don't allow the situation to affect me. So I dictate what I do. I dictate the time to start work and the time to end work. I refuse to work after 6:30. That's the maximum. Because there is time for what? Everything. So the fact that I am at home does not mean I should be working 24 hours. No. And that's why I like the big word that Dr. Ahmed used, routine. And you will see as we go along. Our movements. For example, I boss and I love to walk. So it has removed that. I no longer do that. I just move from one room, but good enough, I'm not staying in the same room. I move from one room to the other. Our social life, at work, there are sometimes, you are bored at work, you just cross over to a friend's, cubicle, to the office, and you chat. For me, most times, the computer is there. I usually don't use the computer. I prefer in person or pick my phone. So COVID has denied us, and our relationship also. But I'm happy that there is a way out. The video calls are important. And of course, we cannot expend our energy systematically as we used to do. So that is telling me and you one thing, that because you cannot expend your energy systematically as we used to do, then I think you should reduce the amount of food that you eat. Let's move along. That's general. Let's move along and see individuals. I want to tell you that the impact of COVID-19 on individual is different. It depends on your personality. And so the big question I have for you is, do you know your personality? I just learned that, there is a place you can go and access and take a test. I'm beginning to know myself a little bit, but of course, I want to learn more. So you can look at 16personalities.com, 16personality.com, and you can take a test. I'm happy that somebody, is nodding his head, is familiar with that. So, and of course, it depends on your person also. How is it affecting you? And of course, your career, like we have said, and like we know, a few people have lost their jobs. And even in then, do you know that some people even have better jobs now? Your physical activity is also impacted. And of course, some of us, your faith is impacted. And of course, your relationship as an individual. One key thing I want to pass across is that we are different as individuals. And we have different makeups, we have different personalities. So if there's something that COVID has done, it's a time for us to sit back and reflect. Who am I? What is my personality? So it's a time to slow down the advantages of COVID, rethink, refocus, and reevaluate yourself. Well, we can move on. So those are the impacts of COVID. How can I impact? How can I minimize these impacts on me and my family? A lot has been said, by the first speaker and the second speaker. But the key thing I want to drive home here is identify, make a self-evaluation, self-assessment. How has this situation impacted me? How has it impacted my career? How has it impacted my faith? A lot of people, when you talk about faith, are so much given into fear that they think, the world is coming to an end. I was talking to someone yesterday. She said, everybody is debating about the chips, that they should not take the chips. They should take the chips. They are talking about 66. I want to say, get good information. And this is not a time to play with your faith, if you allow me to say that. It's a time to back up and say, who do I know? Well, thank God that you know the Lord, as many as know the Lord. If you don't know the Lord, it's a time for you to sit back and get to know him. So you need to ascertain your current status. Before COVID, what is happening to me now? A lot, we have known a lot. We've been in COVID for about 8-9 months, so we know a lot about COVID. So as you listen to me, what's your current status? And that's why I'm talking about self-awareness. If you allow me to say it, a lot of people, perish because of lack of knowledge. There's a lot of ignorance. And so the first thing I want to speak on how to minimize impact is self-awareness. How is this COVID impacting me as a person? Let me sit back. Thank God we're at home. We could have time. I could use my 1 hour, 1 day to do that. So I ask myself questions. What can I do? How can I do it? The impacts. When can I do it? Am I still going to postpone it? Or there is need for me to change? Where can I minimize this impact? The ones that are in my control. I'm not talking about things that are not in your control. And that's why the issue of fear, we should be mindful of it. Why fear what you cannot control? And there are so many things that you can control. So, and one big key thing that I want to say is, once you know how you have been impacted as a person, maybe as a woman or as a father in the home, then you can come down and begin to interact with your family as individuals, like we have been told. Because it's only when you have identified yours that you can be able to understand what other people are passing through. So that's essential. So once you do your self-awareness, your self-check, you know where you are. And the most important thing is that, I want to improve. I want to get better. I want to change these situations. Change starts from within. And that's why I said I can only educate, I cannot help you. You must have a personal choice that I don't want to go in this way again. Something can be better. And of course, check on your family, then we move on. So having identified, your current status, it is not for you to be afraid. It is not for you to be afraid. It is for you to take action. Maybe you need more self-education. I'm happy Dr. Ahmed said there are a lot of YouTubes that have virtual physical exercises. I remember when COVID started, I picked up myself. I said, I mustn't stop this, my routine. At work, during my lunch break, because that's when I have time, I work out for about 50 minutes with a group. Because I couldn't trust at the beginning that I could do it myself. So I went to what I could stick with. And I got myself entangled, if you allow me to use that word, by being part of the activity that set up our gym, so that I'm involved and I cannot back up. And that helped me. So 3 times, 4 times in a week, I go to the gym. I think I started with 3 times maximum, not 4 times. So for the 50 minutes. So when were asked to stay back, I said, what am I going to do? Now I've been to gym with a group for several years. I think I should, and I've seen the benefit. I think I can continue. So I started searching the YouTube, and I got a woman that I love so much, Faithful Workouts. And she also aligns with my faith. And so every morning, once we get up, quickly go to the gym, I'm not sure, about sometimes 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I walk out, I go to the washroom, take my bath, get dressed, and I'm ready to begin the day. So I was doing that, 3 times. But fortunately, you have to be careful and know yourself. I think I was too strong on myself. And because I was too strong on myself, I injured my knee. So I had to learn that I needed to wait to allow my knee to heal. And so I was feeling uncomfortable. But do you know that you can still work out even with an injured knee? Nobody has an excuse. Even if you are 80. And that's why I like Faithful Workout. She brings the older women. You can sit and move your hand. All you need is just to move your hand and enjoy it. It doesn't have to be street. It's not anything that is routine. It's just something simple. Even by lifting up your legs, up and down, moving like that, like this, helps. Because if you don't exercise those muscles, they will begin to diminish and you can lose them. So self-education is important. And during that time, I also educated myself. Before COVID, I was not on any social media. And that's why you just see me that I just got there. I educated myself. So self-education is key. And of course, the first one, like I said, create a schedule for yourself and get educated. Schedule is another word like routine. Because the truth is that if you don't have a schedule, a routine, people would have a schedule or a routine for you. And learn all you can learn. And of course, join a health group for wellness or set up individual coaching. It begins from knowing yourself. I just gave an example of myself. I didn't know that I could go to the gym. I couldn't know that I could work out. So I said, well, I better on my own. I better do it as a group. And I found the benefit. And so when that was closed, because of the discipline that I had, imbibed in, I could stand. So again, if you discover after the self-analysis that I think my case is chronic, then seek medical experts. Don't keep quiet. Ask for help. Evaluate yourself. Like I said, after evaluation, don't be afraid. You are not evaluating to be afraid because fear kills already. That's the truth. So take action. Then self-care is important. Do something nice to yourself. Create a schedule for yourself. It could be as simple as before you go to bed, brush your teeth. Simple. There it says it could be physical. And of course, when you talk about physical care, sleep is important. That's why I was not working 24/7, even though I may have a tight deadline. I had to speak to myself, your day and your time is limited, and every minute is significant. Make use of it. So when you're, just like Dr. Ahmed said, when you're ready, have a schedule, a routine. If it's 9 o'clock for bed, go at 9 o'clock. Even if you don't feel like sleeping, stay in that bed. Do something. You want to read your Bible, you want to pray, you want to read a book. Because the body is actually a big biocomputer. For those of us that don't know, it's programmed already. And the truth is that because we don't have a lot of education about ourselves, we begin to fear. The truth is that fear affects your body system. A lot of things affect your body systems. Unforgiveness, for example, will throw you off. The cells will talk to one another, and they begin to affect even your physical health. And that's why when we talk about relationship, it's very, very important. You will see some of the advices and suggestions at the end. So, sleep well. Water is crucial. What did I have to do? I discovered that I'm not drinking enough water. So I brought water into my bedroom, into my office room. Because what I did was to have a separate place where I sleep, a separate place set up as the office. So I put water around me to remind me to drink water. And when this whole pandemic started, I had a wellness group. I developed a wellness group, and we talk to one another. We encourage one another. And nutrition is important. Like I said, you are not expending so much energy. Why do you need to eat 3 square meals a day? You're not walking up and down, except, well, maybe you walk or you run 10 kilometers a day so that you can expend those energy. The truth is that anything that is not expended out of the body stores it as fat. And it could develop into any chronic illness. And of course, breathing also is crucial. A lot of us don't know how to breathe. Can we just pause for a moment and just breathe out heavily? Okay, so let's breathe in together. Hold it for 1 second and breathe out. Consciously breathe in and breathe out. Just exercises. Sometimes you get to bed, you are not able to sleep. You may just decide to breathe out and in, hold it for 1 or 2 seconds, and out. Keep doing that. Relax this body. It's important. And of course, more importantly is self-discipline. After you have evaluated yourself, you are aware these are the things that I need to change. It's self-discipline that is going to help you to bring those changes to pass. Very key. Very important, self-discipline. Sometimes your body will say, yes, just eat this food, eat this food. The ability to say, no, my body doesn't need that food is what is called self-discipline. Let's move on. So self-care is not selfish. Take time for yourself. Because the truth is, if you as the father or the mother of the home is not healthy, is not strong, how are you able to take care of your family? So it is important you get yourselves, to a place that you have some routine. You can do this, you can do that. Then you are able to help someone. And let me tell you in closing, I'm not asking you, please, to do all these things. Just one thing. Somebody say one thing. Just one thing. I want you to change one habit after this talk. Just one. I'm not asking you for everything. So what are the suggestions or the next steps? 1. Because of the situation we have around, you need to boost your immunity. Boost your immunity. How do you boost your immunity? A lot of citrus fruits. And that's why you have fruits there. Oranges, lemon. Start with warm lemon water in the morning. If that's something I want to give to you, that's going to, it may taste acidic, but once it gets into your body, it's alkaline. Because our body is supposed to be as neutral as possible. But we have a lot of acid in our stomach that needs to break down the food. So when you take warm lemon water as a first thing in the body, it alkalizes your body. It tries to bring it to neutral. And it's going to help your digestive system. Number 1 is your brain. You can see as important as our brain is. Number 2 is that your gut, your digestive system is your second brain. And so if you are having issues with constipation, don't leave it. It's a serious issue. You need to treat it. So boost your immunity. Eat the fruits. Clean them, wash them. Don't be afraid to try out different types of fruits. That's what will boost your immunity. I know a lot of people like supplements. The word says supplements. It's not the essential thing. So take this juice. But I know Nigerians, we don't like vegetables. Blend it. Blend it. And can use coconut water as the base. Actually, that's the way, I'm just telling you the way I start my day. Most times I'm able to work out. After the work, I'll take warm lemon. After the warm lemon, I take the blended juice. And I take, not the blended juice. I don't take the juice. I take the smoothies. Because there's a difference between smoothie and the juice. So I take the smoothie, and of course I take the veggies smoothie also. So very key, very important because of the situations we have around. Boost your immunity. Not only your immunity, boost the immunity of every member of your family. And start slowly and gradually. So you may not be up to where I am. I don't want to tell you where I am. I take big cups of those 2 things, and it doesn't affect my system. I didn't just start taking it. And so somebody is asking me, what is part of my secret? Maybe you are getting part of it. I take that every day. It's part of, and I eat it first. So for us, you know, the way we're taught is, oh, eat your meal. After your meal, take dessert. It's supposed to be the other way around. And why? Because if you take the big meal, it takes a longer time to digest, unlike the fruits. So by the time the fruits are digesting, they are rotten. So that's why the model now is take your fruits first. It goes into your blood systems. It's digesting even before the main meal begins to come in. So engage in physical activities that are fun to you, what you like to do. So maybe, I know it's getting cold now. It may just be up and down your staircase, because I know a lot of us have what they call it now, treadmill at home that we don't use. A lot of people use it as hangers. That's why when I was starting out, I didn't start with a treadmill. You know, funny enough, I have one at home, but I don't think I've ever gone on it, because I actually prefer the exercises, moving around or dancing without any instruments. So it is not an excuse, oh, my leg is paining me, I can do something for you on the seats. And you have to know where, you know, your limitations are, and don't force yourself into it. It comes gradually, but you need to be consistent. So don't start what you will not be consistent with. So maybe it's just 5 minutes. Some people may just be stretching. So I discovered that all I needed to do was now to just stretch. And the truth is that when you begin to work out, it actually helps your body. You feel fit and less pain. So engage in healthy relationship. Like I was trying to tell my sister when she asked me, one basic thing is, as an health coach, I will tell you the truth. It's not what you eat that affects you first. Hello? It's not the food that you are eating that affects you. What affects you more is the relationship. There are some things, we call them actually primary food. The people you relate with. Whether it's a friendly relationship or a toxic one. Avoid anything that will drain you. Avoid toxic relationship. Don't go into it. Don't go into that area. And of course, seek for work opportunities. So 4 main things that will affect you quickly. Number 1 is your relationship, your physical activity, your career, and your faith. Those 4 things are more things that would affect you more than the food that you eat on the table. Because some people you discover, oh, they are on strict diet, they don't take this, they don't take that, and yet they still have challenges. Because maybe one of those 4 areas, principal 4 areas, there are other 8, but those are the 4 principal ones are actually, you know, not going well. So it is important you seek for opportunities, you know, that suit your interests and play to your strengths. So develop them, come up with them. You know, thank God for this COVID period. That's the advantage. You have some time to do some things, to get some other trainings on the other side. And of course, more importantly, practice your faith. That would help you. And so that means the heart. And I tell people, healing to your body comes from your heart. When your heart is fine, when your heart is in tune, healing is available. Avoid isolation. If you are not ill and you are not showing COVID symptoms, call somebody up. Every time I love my phone to ring. Actually, when there are no activity on my phone, I begin to push activities. Talk to people. Thank God for video. You know, we have Zoom video, we have Skype. Talk to people. It depends on, I know my personality is extrovert. So why do I want to just keep quiet and crawl over things that you don't need to think about? No. And of course, if you work from home, create a comfortable and ergonomically correct work setup. You saw that man, he was doing like this. Your neck will be hurting you. I used to tell my colleagues at work because of experience. So they would tell me when I was saying, Bukky, does it mean you are 10 years older than me? I would not answer that. I said, don't worry, you will not know now. So make sure that your setup is okay. Like I told you at home, by May, I got a stand up and sit station because that's what I work with at work. In fact, before then, I had set it up in such a way, I was very creative. I look for big books to put my laptop on so that I can stand. And at the time I need to sit, I will bring it and sit. So you have to be mindful. If not, you'll be experiencing pain on your shoulders, on your neck. It is because of the way you are sitting and your hands. So don't sit for too long. you need to stand up, you need to move, even if it's just to pace up and down a little bit. That will help. And of course, if possible, have a dedicated workspace set up, separate from your living room. So you get up in the morning, take your shower, dress up as if you are going to work, and get to a place that is set up and comfortable for you, and make it attractive to you. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. Key advice. That's one of the things that I put together. When you begin to feel an headache, it has a meaning to your body. Or your leg aches, or you're feeling a stomach ache. I just told you that your digestion is your second brain. And so that's why you must be mindful of what you put into your body. Actually, food is medicine. Don't go for that, don't go for Tylenol first. Don't go for Advil. The truth is that maybe in December when I couldn't rest, I can recount. And after a year, I don't take those things. You don't need them. All you need sometimes when you have an headache is water. Maybe you have been dehydrated. All you need, just step out for water. And sometimes it is sleep. Sleep is healing. Water is good. And your breathing is also important for you. Your body speaks. Don't wait. And you know, we Nigeria, especially it does not matter. We still do another thing. No. Somebody does not begin to have a disease. Did you hear me? That's how one of my practitioners call it. Disease. We call it disease. But she says, this is suddenly. It comes slowly and subtly. And it comes with having pain. When you have a pain, it's speaking to you. Attention. Take care. And there are some little things that we need to know. So your body speaks. How it speaks is feelings. And watch it. And of course, like I said, mental also, you just don't begin to feel somehow. Once you are beginning to feel awkward, then step back. Take action. Don't brush it aside. That's what that poster is saying. It's saying stop, investigate, and act. Do not null that voice. And of course, sometimes some of us can help ourselves. But that's why there's this new group of health practitioners, if you can call us, health coach that are out there to help you with your health. And that's why the coach can help you. And of course, my number is there. You may not be able to see it if you're far away. You know, there's the coach. On Facebook, I have a business page, the coach. I have it in my real name, Bukky Olawale. And of course, I have an anger, as they call it in IG. I meant that they are teaching me. You know, that's one thing fun. I want to go along with the age, you know. And of course, I also have a place on Twitter at Be the Great Coach, at Bukky the Great Coach. Be at the Great Coach. I believe I'm beginning to round up. Do I have one more slide? Yeah. Thank you and thank you. Maybe you want to ask me, eat lots of vegetable. When we say boost your immunity, that's what we are talking about. And there are some food that we call whole foods that are good for you. Don't run away from them. The cauliflower, the truth is that you don't need more medications. You hear me? What you need is education. And so today, I am willing to take on people one-to-one. I have a few, before your questions, I have a few people that I can take on one-to-one in my tight schedule. It's something that I'm passionate about. There is a link for you to just give me your name and your email. We actually start with what we call health history, because we'll talk about that. So I can take you on one-to-one. And of course, if you want me to speak to any particular, health issue or any area, I'm always available. All you need is to email me or give me a call, and I'll be direct. So I can take one, because the truth, like I said, is I see some people, but unless you come, that needs attention. But like I said, you can't force anyone. Changes starts from within. And that's actually the way it started with me. Thank you, and thank you so much for listening to me. So your questions. Maybe in the chat box as well, if you can have anyone. Yes, ma'am. There's a question here.
We've had a series of health professionals tell us the kind of fruits to eat. Some will say, don't eat the sweet fruits. Eat the ones that are not so sweet. So you did mention citrus. They're usually sweet because they were talking about eating more berry-like fruits. What do you say to that? Because at times it just gets confusing. Eat this, don't eat this. Where do you go from there?
Thank you, and thank you so much. When it comes to health, one big thing I have learned is that we are individuals. And our body chemistry is different. One man's food is another man's poison. You need to know yourself. What can you tolerate? For you to become clearer to you, when you go to the doctors, sometimes they give you some medication, try this. Because nobody really knows your chemistry. So you have to find out what is good for you. And that's why sometimes we need an health coach for us to dig deeper. So usually we don't say do's and don'ts. But if you ask me, there may be some underlying reasons or misconceptions that you have. That's why you want to go this way. So that's why I can only throw a suggestion. There's no fruit that I have not tried. Maybe one thing that I should throw across is one of the dangerous food that they will advise you against is sugar, synthetic sugar. All the fruits, except if you have had an underlying, situations or underlying cases, and it starts from the way of life you have been living before, then you may have to stop eating anything sugar. And then we have to do what? Make sure, because the body has the capacity to self-heal. Give the body time to heal. Like I told you, there was a time my knee was actually swollen because I was a bit careless. I was putting ice on it and I forgot. So that brought inflammation. So what are the problems? The root cause of every disease, they will tell you, is inflammation. And inflammation is good, but if it stays and it doesn't go down, it's the danger. So what am I saying? You may want to try out some things, except if you have an underlying issue, which you can discuss with your health practitioner and allow the body to heal, then you can start to introduce this. So usually, again, what they do is what they call isolation method. What they do, you begin to try out those things and begin to remove them one at the other. I remember, when I started, looking at my health, I would take lots of vegetables, lots of fruits. And I discovered that and then at night when I'm going to bed, I would take meat and I would take chamomile. So I discovered that suddenly my stomach was just running. What's happening? But you know what? I started to isolate things and I discovered it was peppermint. So I stopped peppermint and everything became normal. So what am I telling you? We are individuals. You need to sit back and study your routine. But of course, if you are not able to take citrus, like lemon, not everybody can take lemon, to my surprise. You can take apple cider vinegar in the morning as the first thing. Some people may, for example, I tried it, I couldn't. I still have it at home. So I know that's not my field. So, but for oranges, they should be fine. But of course, like you said, you have berries. And each of those fruits have, their compositions. And so a variety of fruits is actually what we need. So sometimes you may need to switch, and try this and try out. And of course, don't be afraid of dropping sugar. You only need to drop synthetic sugar, and after 2 weeks, your taste bud will change. So don't be afraid. But start one thing at a time. So all that we have said today, don't be afraid to say, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. No, if it's just one thing, because we know that as humans, we are used to habits. And if you try to do everything I've said today, I'm sorry, you will be discouraged and you come back to root one. Just stick to one thing. I hope I've been able to answer your question. So know yourself and know what you can tolerate, but try them out. And if it doesn't work, then stop, change. Yes, sir. And all those vegetables are good. If you want to try anything, try the vegetables like, what they call it now, spinach, like kale, like collard. And of course, everyone needs one raw diet every day. Raw food is part of your meals. So if you still eat 3 square meals, eat something that is raw, maybe in the morning, raw. Such as, like I mentioned, smoothie. Blend those vegetables, introduce them. They're going to help. Yes. Quiet. There's a question here. Any question online? Okay.
Thank you again. We've heard of different kind of, how do they put it out? Dieting routines. People come up with keto, meat, all sorts of things that we need to do. And we try to self-medicate a lot. So, I mean, we've seen people that do all these things, they go down and before you know it, they bloat up just because they stop. So my question around diet, good health is, do we all really need a health consultant to be able to maintain our health? Or we can just maybe, I don't know. I'm just confused.
Very great question. My first answer, diet does not work. So that's why I don't preach diets. And I quite agree. Because you are subjecting the body to a situation that is not normal. And that's why I said you change one day at a time. You start something, you maintain it. Once it gets to an habit to you, then you can pick up another one. Trying to do everything at the same time, wow. The body has feelings. The body has a voice. To say, no. Our body are made of cells, if you don't know. So that's why you have to treat them one at a time. Yes, not everybody will need a health consultant. But in my view, it is better, at least at the beginning. And so that's why, for example, I have like what they call 6 months. So people say, oh, why 6 months? Maybe we just meet twice. Because let me tell you the truth. The truth is, there's an underlying issue why somebody wants to diet. Maybe they feel that they are too fat, so they want to slim down now. So what made you to be fat? Because, for example, unfortunately, the way we have been brought up, they use food, we use food to celebrate as a reward. And so we begin to indulge ourselves. It becomes an habit, and we can no longer stop. And it becomes our driver. That's why self-awareness is important. We start from self-awareness, then you can self-educate. For example, ask me, how did I start? I discovered that, why is it? There must be a reason why people are sick. And I started to investigate. And I got involved into this school because it was my passion. It was a career. It was something that I loved before. So it just keyed into where I am. So I said, Bukky, where have you been all these years? You can help people. And of course, you can see that as I stand, it speaks. I didn't punish myself. I'm enjoying my diet. Why am I enjoying it? Sorry, I'm enjoying not diet. I'm enjoying, the way that I eat. The truth is that they will ask me, are you eating fruit all of the time? No. Are you eating vegetable all of the time? No. Sometimes I want to just make myself happy. I take the cookie. But I don't take any synthetic sugar. And the truth is that I don't even take milk. I take those fruits. I took those vegetables. But I started knowing the impacts of feeding negatively. That's what made me to change. So something is driving anybody that wants to do diet. Let's be realistic. And so that's why not all of us can help ourselves. We need somebody to listen to you. And more importantly, why do we have health coaches there? Thank God for medicine, for medical doctors. We are always running short of them. Please, how many minutes do you have in your doctor's office? 15 minutes. Health coaches, we are there to be your listening ear. Sometimes it's not about what you are eating. Sometimes it's far beyond. It's an emotional issue. You just want somebody to listen to you. And that's where health coaches are there. So most times it's because of the issue, underlying issue, that you want something to compensate for what you're passing through. So that's why quite a number of us, we need health coaches. And maybe a seminar like this may not need a personal one-to-one coaching. You may just listen to a health seminar and key in. So there's so much information out there, but like they have rightly told us, get the right information that suits you. So if there's one information you have gotten from me is that you are a unique individual. You cannot compare yourself to another. You only need to sit and think, what is best for me? What do I want to achieve? Do I want pain or do I want pleasure? Some people, they say, oh, I just love the taste of the food. Do you know the after meat effect on your body? Which one is better? You eat for just, enjoy it for 5 minutes. And let me give you another hint. We need to chew our food well. Don't be like me in those days. I'm still learning. Because digestion actually starts from your mouth. Some of them don't swallow those things. If you swallow, you are just laboring the muscles. So chew slowly. Eat slowly. Don't multitask when you are eating. Enjoy yourself. Food is your medicine. Start. And so that's why, thank God for women, the kitchen should actually be our hospitals. So that's why sometimes you need the health coaches, because sometimes you just need somebody to listen to you. Because sometimes you cannot help yourself. You need another ear. So what do we do as health coaches? We are there to help you in the transition to a healthy living. So any other question? Do you have time more for another question? Because she seems to be the only one asking questions. Okay. If there's no more questions, well, quite a number of people here know me and you can get